So welcome everybody to day 3 of our day 3 leadership challenge. You made it. I'm wearing my red lipstick this morning because I'm like trying to get myself into happy mode. Not happy mode, but I just really like lipstick. And I don't always wear red because it's bold and it puts me out there. And today I'm willing to be seen. So that's how I'm doing it. Um, so I thought you guys have had some real information downloads and feedback and stepping kind of into things the last couple days, and I love that because that's what this is about, right? Like, you're only going to have as much change as you really want to have, right? And there's no wrong answer about that. I know that I can be really I don't want to say pushy, but I guess I am in a way, but I'm okay with that. I can be really I really like to move people and get them into a state where they're looking at things a little differently. And sometimes that's not always comfortable. But really, if you want to have change, that's what's got to happen. Okay. Um, if I could get you guys just to mute yourself if you're not talking, that would be great. And so today, the first day we talked about if you were the world champion in your business, what would that look like? Okay. And the second day we talked about recognizing your roadblocks, and a lot of comments came out of that conversation, which I thought was really rich and diverse, which I loved. And today we're going to look at where are you now? So let me just start up my PowerPoint. Okay, cool. And I got some chats there. Okay. All righty. I'm telling you, I'm like the new expert at PowerPoint. So day 3 leadership challenge, where are you now? So what I want to do today is I want you guys to be interactive, even if you haven't on the last couple days, even if it's a couple comments in the chat, that's okay. Because really day 3 is about bringing it all together and seeing where you are now, where you're going to be, okay, when you're identifying your gold medal self, and what was getting in your way, okay, and are you going to choose to move past those blocks? Okay, that's really the summary of it. So identifying your gold medal self. So I want to hear, have you guys come up with some information or figured out what your business leadership looks like when you're the world champion of your business? Because, I mean, we did talk about that the first day. Has anybody got a better picture of what that looks like? Just unmute yourself and come on out. Don't all rush. It's okay. Or an idea of what that might look like. So, if you're in network marketing, did you see yourself still doing network marketing? Did you see yourself running a huge team? In your business, whatever you do, are you a coach? Do you have tons of clients? Are you coaching groups? Are you coaching individuals at that level? Are you coaching coaches? Are you coaching leaders who are coaching coaches? What is your income, right? So any of those heads up that you've got, I love to hear that, right? And I know, Christine, you're in and out, so just drop in.
I'm back. I have a few ideas on that. Like, I spend far too much time in the day-to-day stuff. So I definitely would have a team of 5 to 6 full-time staff who just work to run the machine. They keep it going. I would also have a roster of about a dozen facilitators to offer different training in different aspects of the entrepreneurial pursuit, so to speak. And it would be a full house of content, programs, different price points, different lengths. And we're just offering a full gamut of support to entrepreneurs at different stages of their journey.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing,
before COVID, I would say a full-on training center and meeting center. But now it's so funny because we were looking at leasing property before COVID hit, and my husband and I just look at each other and go, oh my gosh,
Thank God, right?
Yes. we had one property, he said no, and I was really mad at him and angry. And now he just looks at me and says, see, that's all. Sorry. But yeah, that's kind of a little glimpse of where I see things.
Very cool. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So that's like, and Christine's had some time to kind of figure that out, right? So even if you don't have answers today, like that's where you want to be thinking, right? Whatever that means to you. Okay. And what I really want to talk about today is, where do things look like for you now? So do you definitely see a difference about where you want to be as the world champion in your business and where you are now? Or is it just that, I'm just going to see what happens and over the next couple years? Or do you feel you need that structure and the step by step and the focus and the form and structure that you need up here, and the learning and the knowledge to make it happen? Okay. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What does your business look like right now? And have you noticed that over our conversations of the last couple days, that, yeah, it definitely needs to change. And here's kind of an idea of what I'm thinking of how it's going to look differently. You can just unmute and come on out when you're ready.
I can go. It's kind of neat timing because I'm in the midst of doing a bunch of different things. So the timing of this workshop, this 3-day leadership, was like impeccable. So I don't know if it's within this last 3 days or kind of within the past couple of weeks, but I'm shifting into more collaborations, which was neat when you said that the other day. So working with other coaches and partnering up to do these workshops. And one of the coaches, like, we really jive, and we're literally going to have a big discussion about creating like a membership community and going that route, because we're like, it's the whole, like I was saying yesterday, recognizing like we're not charging enough money. We're not recognizing the worth. So I'm diving deep into that. And at the same time, working with other coaches, creating these other workshops. So it's neat because I'm stepping out of what I thought the capacity of coaching I would be doing would be, which I thought it would be one-on-one, into more of this like workshop, group coaching, membership zone. So this is really helpful because now it's giving me more drive, right? Where it's like, yeah, just do it, go, go, go. But I always find there's a gap. There's always that gap of like where you are, where you're struggling. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not making enough money. And then I can always see this huge picture. Like I always have had that huge picture, but it's that in between, it's that friggin' and like, I think you just said, finding those tactical steps, like, in how do I get to that?
Yeah. That's
so,
where, honestly, that's great feedback, because that's where people struggle the most.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, I have the idea, I know where I am, right? But until you see what the difference is there, like,
yeah,
there's just nothing, right? You're just kind of floating out there. And it's not a bad way to be, but if you really want to move into your power and your leadership, that you need that. Like, I am not a structure person. Oh my God, I'm the opposite of that, right? I'm like, let's jump off the cliff and see if there's water underneath, right? But I needed that to step into the next level. And I was thinking about this last night. Like, I really, we were talking about the law of the lid the first day, and I really have shifted in the law of the lid. And I think it was on one of the, it was probably on this one, because I'm doing 4 of these at once. So it's really interesting to get everybody's feedback. I'm trying to remember everything. But it's just, you're going to find that in your business, your leadership and your business get so big and you start to move, and it's going to shift from you approaching people to people approaching you. There'll always be a little bit of both, but you're going to have people saying, I want what you have, instead of you trying to convince them that they need what you have. Right. And I feel like sometimes if we're a lot of space about that and not pushing our products, and I don't think any of you do that, that you have to just find ways to make it accessible for people to find out what you do, right? And that contributed a lot to me, like creating the 3-day leadership challenge. It's, definable results you can have in 3 days. And if you want more, great. If you don't, that's great. Take what you got and apply it into your life. And make sure you tell me about your success, because for me, it's more than just these 3 days with you guys. It's like, I'm invested in your success. And why should I be invested in your success? I don't really know you. Because it's not about me, right? Your business is never about you, right? You're running it. But if we can get into the mindset of like a community mindset, or a consciousness mindset, which is a bit woo-woo, so I don't really like to talk about that. But it's really going to shift you really quickly. Yeah, so that's good. Great feedback. Anybody else before we move on? Okay, cool. All right, so I just want to know if you guys had a mission already done for now, like where you are now. Do you guys have a mission that you had already done up? If you haven't, that's fine. But we talked about mission and vision, and what would your mission and vision be up here? So we did that on day one. And if you have a mission now, was it different than what you had up here? Has that looked different? Does it look different now? For me, my mission used to be a lot smaller. So it was like, how can I help people to feel better? Which was a really general mission, and it didn't really give me the drive I needed to go. So I started to niche it down, niche it down, niche it down. And I find that, that's one of the biggest things when I talk to people is they're like, I don't know what my niche is, right? So I moved into leadership. Now that's a niche on its own. And then I moved into leadership for people who want a clear path to success, which is an even more niche. But I don't have a demographic on that. So it's not going to be like women who are, 40 to 50. I have a lot of those women, but I have some groups that are mostly men, right? So it's just, so my question to you is your mission the same now than it's going to be later? And that's something you really want to be looking at. And did anyone have a mission before we talked about it on day one? Had you gone as far as creating a mission and or a vision for your company? If you have, come on out. I'd love to hear what that is, because I'm always fascinated to hear how people's brains think and what their goals are. Okay, just making sure I check on the chat. Okay, you guys are all about the listening today. Did anyone else want to make a comment?
I was going to say, I had a mission. I'm like, I don't want to be the only one always talking here.
No, it's totally good, because you know what? When you're talking, it's probably the same thing other people are thinking. Yeah. So it's perfect.
So yeah, mine was very like basic, and it was just literally, like you were saying, creativity, fun, positivity, inspiration, and motivation are key. So it's just this general statement that I plopped on my website that doesn't even, right? So I think that's one of my to-dos I have written in big, bold letters, like create my mission and vision, and just be as clear as possible, like what I'm giving to you when you come to my workshops. What do you get? Like, you get that energy and that motivation, you have fun, like it's fun, right? So I think I just have to write that out, drill that down.
I think Tamaya, once you get more clear on what your core offering is, that mission statement will become so much easier for you to complete.
Yeah. Right? Even with the workshops, that's what I'm just thinking. It's like my aha, it's all of a sudden workshops have moved into the focus right now. So I'm like, crap, this is amazing. I'll just create my mission and my vision around that. And there you go. Done, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no. That's
so cool.
Like the beauty is there
stages for you, Laura. Would you agree that maybe at these stages for Tamaya in particular, that her mission may evolve as she as a leader evolves? Like it's gonna shift and change. So
yeah, absolutely. And to Christine's point, like when you're in that shifting and that moving, like look at it more often. Right. And one thing I would be asking yourself to I don't know how I want to say this, to not have to change your mission and vision so much as you should be asking, is this big enough for your mission? Right. So you have the workshops, but you're still going to be doing the coaching. So how can I combine the two? How can I make that bigger, right? So, maybe you're going to, contribute to lives or, shift people's outlook on whatever in this so that they can have this, right? It's almost like creating a UVP for your life, a unique value proposition, your mission, right? And so, I love connecting people, and I love having them step into their power and realize, not only what tools they have, but that they can do it. And the only one limiting themselves is them. So I give them the tools for that. So my mission, I have it down to one sentence. I don't have it in front of me, but I mean, I literally took the 5 sentences and started taking stuff out. And I'm like, how can I make it more and more clear? I should actually teach a workshop on that, because I really feel like it's something that we don't talk about a lot. So yeah, I'm making a note about that. Teach vision workshop. um, mission and vision workshop. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Christine and Laura.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and you know, it's funny. One of my mentors, when I was doing mine, was like, I was writing out my 30-second elevator pitch. And this kind of, it relates to this. So I want to talk about it. And she's like, it's too long. You're 45 seconds. And I read it to her. She goes, no, take these words out. And it was funny because we were going through it and I took some words out, but I still got the point across. And in fact, I got the point across better because the other words were distracting from the point. And I got it down to like this one sentence that is super clear. And it took work because I didn't want to feel like I was shortchanging what I did. But I really feel like in your business, that's what you can have. That's like, I do this and this and this, and this is my mission. And, you know, hey, come on along with me on the ride. You know, what do you want to learn? And make it about them, right? So making it about other people is really what this whole thing is about. You guys already know that, so I don't have to tell you that. So very cool, very cool. And then I love this screen because we always have good discussion around this. So how much of a gap is there in your income or revenue from you being up here and you being here? And I will be really upfront. So mine is almost $500,000 when I started. It was huge. I'm like, am I setting the bar too high for myself? You know, I really had to think about it. And then I'm like, but then I started to tap into the things that I had to offer. And I wasn't doing that enough before, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, I have this and this and this to offer. And I'm taking passive income from this and this and this. And I'm an affiliate for this and this and that. Like I wasn't including everything that I do, right? And so again, what can you add right now to your business and your life that's going to create more income or revenue for you? And we kind of talked about that the other day. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. You know, so be thinking about those things. So do you feel that the gap that you have right now between where you want to be and where you are now is insurmountable? Is it a ridiculous number? Is it achievable? You know, have you thought about what you can add to that?
My husband always says to me, does it scare you? Does that number scare you? Because if that number doesn't scare you, it's not high enough.
Right. I have to agree. Yeah. Yeah. It's so true.
And that he says that about everything, every workshop, every meeting, every course, everything that yeah. Does that number scare you? Does it make you uncomfortable? Okay, try again.
Yeah. And you know, let's talk about that for a sec, living in uncomfortableness, because I mean, that's kind of my place, my go-to place when I want to create change. And it's not a place I love to be. I got to be honest, but it's a place I need to go if I'm going to shift. So if you're feeling uncomfortable and anything about this workshop in the last 3 days has made you uncomfortable, you're probably in the right place because it's pushing your buttons to a certain degree, like something about what we're talking about. And so that means there needs to be change or shift there. Maybe you just like to listen and get ideas. That's okay too. But you know, how much more do you want? Like, and what do you want out of this whole thing? You know, and your revenue is really what drives you. Besides helping people and it being your passion, like it's a big part of the equation. And so, you know, really honor what revenue that you want. And, you know, we talked about giving and receiving. How much money are you willing to receive? I'm willing to have endless amounts of money in my bank account. I mean, that's pushing my buttons, right? So how can I make that happen on a regular basis, right? So what do you have? What can you create? And what drives you to do that? Okay, I have my monthly goals. What do you guys have? Right? And there's no wrong answer here. It's just whatever's good for you, right? Anybody else have any comments about that? Gosh, we're almost at a half hour already. This hour.
I have a quick question about it.
Yeah.
Do you find that there's like almost like a stepping stone? Because I think for me right now, I go, okay, 20,000 a month would be fantastic. And I'm like, how the F would I even get there? But in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, that's only 240,000 a year. So my big picture is I want to be a generous millionaire. That's one of my affirmations, right? And I just want to be that millionaire and I'm 6-figure constantly. So for me, I'm like, okay, do I like 20,000 a month to me right now is insane. And I'm like, I'm excited if I bring in $1,000 at this point. Um, so I wonder if it's like how Christine was saying before, it's almost as you shift that those goals will then get bigger and bigger. Or do you just focus on that big goal that like, oh, I'm going to go for 240,000 a month, like, do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, my answer is yes to all of that. I mean, you just, yeah, like go, like, what is it? What feels good for you? Like, right? Like, what's resonating with you? And, to give you some structure around that, I would take that $20,000 number and I would work it back by weeks. What do I need to do each week to make this money? And then break it down, look at your services, your goods, your opportunity, whatever it is that you're offering. And then maybe, you know what? Maybe you need to adjust your pricing.
Yeah, totally.
And I think for what I know about Tamaya, you have to have more offerings. And that's just my own experience. So I was offering just training in 2018. How was I going to make 6 figures on me alone, just training every single day? Like, it wasn't possible. So you have to pump up what your offerings are. And I did that last quarter, Q4 of last year. And I saw a dramatic increase in my monthly income. So when she talks about passive income, there's like, it's just everything. I know right now you're thinking, I've got this one course and it's all I'm thinking of. It's all consuming. But, like last week I had 4 launches. Last week, I feel like I lived a month, right? I think, and maybe Laura can correct me, that you just have to have an abundance so that there's many things for people. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just takes one focus, and instead of charging $20, you're charging $2,000. I don't know. But I feel like the more that I had to offer people, the more people came to purchase the things. Does that make sense, Laura?
Yeah, absolutely. And Christine, there's really no wrong answer to that. So a couple tips that I would give everybody is, are you offering enough stuff or enough things? And are you packaging things properly? Right? So for me, in February, I'm creating a program that people who sign up for my gold medal leadership also have to sign up for my communication subscriptions, because to be really effective, powerful leaders, they're going to need that. So what can you use to partner with your program is another way to drive additional revenue. But also, it's not just even the revenue, it's going to allow that person to get additional training in addition to what you're already giving them. So you should be adding stuff like that in. And I would also have a conversation with, I guess you're partnering with people, your peers, your mentors, and I would ask them, what else do you think I could offer? Because once we can get outside of our head and ask other people, like, my coaches have come up to me with so many ideas that I would have never thought of. They're like, no, you're good at this. You should do this. I'm like, damn, that's a great idea. Like they came to me with this 31-day leadership challenge I'm doing right now. It's just a 5-minute training. But I decided now I'm going to write a book about that because people need that, right? And so I had this inspiration over the last 2 days. Like, you just never know what's possible there. So 3 things there. So be asking people what else you think that they think you could offer. That was a big mouthful for me. And then also, what can you add as an add-on? When you go and you buy something in a shopping cart and they're like, and we have these on sale, Vistaprint. They're brutal, right?
It's brilliant.
I always end up buying extra stuff, right?
It's like the winners lineup. When you have to wait 20 people deep and you buy like 7 things in the lineup.
Yeah, it's like that's why they put all that stuff. And Canadian, like everybody does it, right? But give the people working with you tools that are going to contribute to their path with you and themselves. And they're going to just thank you for it because it's going to make it that much richer. They're learning, and who knows what kind of doors are going to open up for them there, right? Maybe it resonates with them, maybe it doesn't. But as long as they're doing whatever you've added in while you're working together, that you can lean on that as a part of the training that you can add in and create more value from that. And who knows, like I have 3 levels of my leadership training, right? My second level is a year-long mastermind and it's way underpriced, right? And I know that, but I want people the first time around, I want people's testimonials, and I want to tweak it. So I know that the first time around there's going to be some changes. And there's nothing more valuable than the people who come into your course, like today. All of the things that I have learned from you are contributing to me offering more to people the next time. And that's the way it should be with learning. Okay, so when you're thinking about what you're offering, that's a couple good tips there to increase your revenue and get different ideas about where you're going.
Thank you,
This
guys.
kind of went off the rails, but I'm glad it did because I really love
it.
I love where it went. Okay.
Well,
cool.
I mean, just what you said there, Laura, about you wrote down a note like, oh, yeah, I'm going to teach a vision workshop. So your vision workshop is a funnel to your 12-week, 15-week, 1-year program, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
same thing with Tamaya is like this one workshop you ran, what does it lead to? What's the next thing? That's what I was missing in 2018 with my single little 3-hour coaching session. So if that's a lesson learned that I can share with you, Tamaya, like
absolutely.
That's what we're in the works of doing. Like Sue Sedan is coming on Friday and we're literally mapping out, okay, from our Send My Soulmate, where else are we going to lead these people? So it's amazing. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And sales funnel is an overused word, right? So, but it's really a key thing you need in your business if you want to grow. So you have, just like Christine said, we have this, then you have this, then you have this. And what do you do when they get to your top level? Why aren't you offering something else for them? So usually when people hit my top level, I shift how the training looks. So now we go into a bit more advanced. Maybe it's intelligence training because they've reached that point in their business where they're starting to move up. And not only are they moving up in income, their emotional intelligence, their business intelligence, all of those things that have created a better being are moving up as well. And so how can my training change to accommodate that is what I look at too. Okay. And so we kind of talked about this. So what changes do you need to implement now and in the future to support where your business and your leadership is going? And then that's just exactly what we talked about. And really it's just all about deciding what else you want to offer and, get with people because you are really a creative being and you will create a lot of stuff, but having others' opinions give you feedback will probably get them giving you things that you didn't think of. Right. And things that have worked for them. Right. And it doesn't mean you're duplicating what they do. Take what they're thinking about and make it your own because really you are a unique individual. Okay. So I love the screen. And I love that big rock there because that's only a string holding that thing together. So what I want to know is, what did you notice that was holding you back the most, especially from our conversation yesterday? What kind of aha did you have about that? Come on out, people. Let me know your scoop. I know from watching you guys, one of the things I noticed of the ahas that you had was that that we, so I don't know, how do I want to say this? So that I noticed that you guys had a realization about the fact that you weren't aware that you were blocking yourself intentionally about certain things, but yet you couldn't move forward. And so I think there was a little bit of awareness around, oh, I'm doing this. And I didn't realize I was doing that. And that, was holding me back. Okay. So that's one thing I noticed when I was watching all of you guys. Yeah, Viva, come on out.
I've had last 4 years of me going backwards in my life because I got divorced after 43 years of marriage. So I've just not been taking care of myself, just been like a crazy roller coaster, freedom, but at the same time, going over reviewing what the past life was. So a lot of things have been held back and I'm just trying to bounce back to start my life all over again. And whereas I didn't, so there's a lot of things that I learned to where I was before and renewing it and where I need to go forward. So I really enjoyed your program and a lot of things to think about. So
right. Yeah, yeah, that's great. When we get into that stuff where we've been, and gosh, I remember we all have low points in our life, right? And
it's just things to hold back is my health and then get back the energy to start moving again and getting where I want to go. Nobody's stopping me now, right? It's all up to me.
Do you guys
Right?
even know what powerful beings you are? Like, it's incredible. And you know, Marianne just made a great comment. She's like, she has shiny object syndrome that she is aware of. I need to narrow the focus and go with it and not worry about what people think. And I'm telling you, Marianne, the more you do that, you'll find those people slough off. And what happens is when people come in with those comments, you're just like, oh, that's just really an interesting point of view. You know, so it takes the charge of out of how it affects you. Okay. And you know, the more you're being seen, the more visible you are. I'm telling you, in the last year, I have become really visible in the world, right? You know, in my business and myself, because that's what I'm allowing myself to do. And I've had so many people with negative comments that I could have chose to focus on. I think I told you about that, where I was teaching and I focused on those sort of three people. I'm like, I think about those three people now. I'm like, wow, that was really small minded, you know? But I can't worry about what three people think. I'm going to focus on the 16 leaders I trained, right?
Yeah.
And the people they're going to train and the people they're going to train and how that's going to ripple out in the world, you know? And a lot of people's stuff who do that, it's just really their own insecurity and their own issues coming up. So be compassionate about that. It's never about you. It's not always about you. Honestly, it's just about them and their inadequacies for themselves. And really we need compassion, and really good leaders can see that, right? Instead of having a reaction, right? Um, yeah, so it's just really key. Yeah. And the more you're being visible in the world and you're getting those negative, you know, that feedback, or people are bashing you or whatever. I used to get it all the time in martial arts because I was a woman, I was a bigger woman, which is like I'm like the non-stereotype of martial arts, right? And I would take so much flack from people all the time. You know, they would go to my students and complain about how horrible it was, and always my students would walk away with firsts, right? And so, because I realized it was just like they couldn't handle what I was doing because it wasn't inside their framework. And you know, it used to make me angry, and I thought, geez, you know, but their clubs never prospered. They never had a lot of students. They disappeared into the woodwork. So those kind of people will just kind of disappear, right? And as you step into your greatness, new people will appear that will value you for who you are. Yeah. Very cool. Great comments. Thank you. Okay. Just making sure. Yeah, absolutely, Marianne. You're amazing. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of a cool screen too. So was it surprising what, you know, we kind of did talk about this a little bit. Was it surprising what you found about yourself? You know, when you wanted to have your business up here, that you actually thought about it that way? And, you know, the things that were getting in your way, were those surprising for you too? Um, uh, you know, I want you to think about the fact that I knew it was there, but I didn't know it was going to show up like this, right? And I'll give you a for instance. So for me, you know, when I was moving forward, I would have a fear of the unknown. Like, what if I do this and it doesn't work out? Okay, that you know, years ago, that used to be my biggest fear. And then now the way I think about that is, and I'll give you a good instance. I was a leader in this wine company that was a wine MLM company coming to Canada. I know it went under. It's a big disappointment. We're all disappointed because we all love wine. But I mean, you know, I was on track to be one of the top 3 people in Canada. I had a team of hundreds of people underneath me, and we were all prepared for this opening. And, you know, it's funny because the one thing was, it wasn't the government that was holding us back. It was the company actually making the plan to come up here. We already had all the okays by the agents and everything, right? And then what happened at the last minute is the investors in the company, because it was a US based company, pulled out. It was a really dirty trick, and they started their own company, a wine company, which was only in the US. So Canada was now out of the picture. So I had hundreds of people that I had to send this notice out to. And I was in this leadership Facebook group for this wine company. There was like 10 of us at our level in there. And it was funny because, you know, the one of the girls came on and she said, how are you guys managing? And so for me, my point of view is, I'm like, okay, that shut down. I'm disappointed in that because I was ready to have a wine empire. I was going to rule the world of wine, right? But the fact of the matter is, when that stopped, that meant for me another door was going to open, and it did literally the next week. Okay. But I went on there and it was really interesting for me because people were in all states of shock. One lady was crying on the page on Zoom. Like she was so devastated. And, you know, like people I talk to, I keep in contact with them, they're still devastated and it's over a year later. Right. And so how much are you attaching to that kind of stuff that's not going to go anywhere? Right. So really, I want you to start thinking about that stuff as an, if something stops or ends like that, you know, or just doesn't happen, there's another opportunity there. And, you know, you need to be saying what else is possible here and allow that to come in. Don't try to have the answer for it. Okay. So that was definitely a surprise for me. So did anyone else have any surprises? Come on out. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Actually, the universe is preparing you in lessons that you're learning, and we just have to see that what we're learning from every time. All the knocks that we get, we learn something, you know,
Right.
and it just makes you stronger. It's up to
Absolutely.
you if you want to get stronger or weaker. It's up to you, right?
Yeah. And, you know, don't have a point of view about that on yourself. And, you know, if COVID's taught me nothing, it's taught me to be in more allowance of where people are, because we're all just trying to manage, right? The stress, the, you know, the changes in our environments, the restrictions, you know, as human beings, we're not meant to be caged, right? So this has put not only a whole different perspective on our life, but our business as well. And so we've really had to step into our power and adapt to that, whatever that looks like. Okay, cool. All right, so, okay. And then, you know, the last screen I think I have here is what are your biggest breakthroughs? So yeah, I mean, this is all about you. So come on out. I always have breakthroughs. I could talk about that stuff forever. So, you know, we did have people come out and talk a little bit about that, but what would be the number one thing that you got out of these 3 days? Come on out. Okay, Tamaya, I'm putting you on the spot.
I was going to say, I'm like, everybody's sick of hearing me. So I want other people to do it. Everybody knows my entire life story now. But I can, oh, look, there's something in the chat.
Anita says, I like what you said about how much you're attaching to stuff that will not go anywhere. I need to work on this. So that's great. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I haven't shared anything about me because I'm actually like a blank canvas this new year. I was running a business for close to 4 years. I was going nowhere, and it was a very hard decision for me, but I decided I really wanted to find out what my passion is, right? Not just to do something um, because you need the money, right? So I made the decision. I stopped. So I'm just trying to figure it out where I'm going next, what I'm going to do. So I relate to a lot of the girls were sharing, right? Like Agatha was saying, like I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, where I want to go. I relate a lot with Tamaya as well. So everything that you said, it's really helpful. It has been very difficult for me. I'm still crying about it, but I know I'm very strong and I know I'm going to figure it out. And I really appreciate all of the tips and all of the sharing because I'm just taking it all in and well, I have to move forward. So I'm really thankful for everything you have shared here.
Cool. And thank you for being, like Christine said, so courageous. You know, being vulnerable. Christine and I were kind of talking about that the other day, and being vulnerable is probably one of the hardest things that I do. But I'm telling you, the more you're willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, the more people love you for yourself, and the more influence you have, and the more you're going to find you attract things. It just happens, right? And I love that. So, but it's probably one of the hardest things for me to do. Some people can put their life out there on a page, and like I really had to work at that because I got a lot of like stuff, right? And what do I want to show people? Do I want to show them everything, parts of things, everything, like, not yet. And, I'm in a very different place than I was 5 years ago. So, I'm pretty much willing to be totally vulnerable when I need to be. It's not the thing that I do with every audience, because you have to discern where and when the times are for that kind of thing. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Awesome. So what I'm going to do now, if nobody has any other comments, is tell you a little bit about how you can continue to work with me. And please interrupt me if you have any questions. If, like the shoe analogy, what did you get out of this? Is it something you want more of, and I have no end of love for people and watching them step into their power. And, I'll give you a good example of that is when I watched my first student win their first world champion, like literally it was a woman too. She looked at me and I looked at her and we burst into tears in the middle of an auditorium with thousands of people, and there are, 3 or 4 rings going on, right? Like, so for me, I was so overwhelmed, and to see her step into that and become an instructor and win more titles. And so for me, like, it's all about creating a space for you guys to step into your power. And I got to be honest, there's nothing more rewarding for me than that. Like, it's great that, we have our passion, we make money, we have our business, but if that doesn't drive me, then there's no reason for me to be here, really, or do the business that I'm doing. I should go do something else. So really, for all the coaches out there, and you guys all have different types of businesses, like, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So the program that I offer is called Gold Medal Leadership. Okay, and that's a picture of me. What you're going to learn in this 12 weeks together, it's 6 modules of learning with 6 Q&As, and it's over 12 weeks. It's 1 hour a week. Okay. You're going to learn to identify your leadership goals. We did touch on this in day 1. Okay, we're going to get really clear on that. And the secret to unlocking your obstacles. So more on your blocks. So basically, we talked just about recognizing your blocks, evaluating them, and removing them are what we didn't get a chance to cover. And we're going to do that in the program. Okay. And I'm going to give you we're going to uncover actionable, easy to use tools that are actually going to propel you. I did give you some in the 3 days. It's just hard to do everything when we've only got 3 days together. And then I'm going to give you the top 3 ways. Actually, I give you way more than that on how to monetize your business. Okay. And give you all sorts of ideas around that. Okay. And why did I create this? And it was last March where I actually decided to shift into my leadership and create this course. I asked a whole bunch of leaders questions, and this is what came out of it. And the people that have taken my course, I kept asking them questions. And the first thing was that leadership was overwhelming for them. They weren't sure what to do with it. And I'm telling you, if you run a business, no matter what you're doing, you are a leader. People are listening to you. You are influencing them in some way, even if they buy your product. Okay. Second was they didn't have the tools about how to do it. It was just a mystery. Well, I hope I get there someday. And maybe if I do this, this will happen. Honestly, structure and form, like I said, aren't my thing, but I'm telling you, if you want to step into your leadership, you need that. You need the steps and the process, and you need it to you need to maximize the value on that and and what that's going to do is minimize the risk. Okay. Because you've got the actual action steps to do it. Okay. And they weren't sure how to motivate those in their team. And this has become a kind of, not a new passion, but I'm really getting excited about this. So I teach several classes on how to engage your tribe and thoughtful leadership and all those kinds of things. Not in the Gold Medal Leadership, that's more in my year-long mastermind, but I'm going to tell you how to motivate your team and get them moving so that they're as excited about things in their business as you are about leading them. And more key than anything else, they weren't making enough money. Okay. We need more money. We need more money to help more people, to make more money, to help more people. You see where this is going? Now, some of the results that I've had in this course. This has helped so many people utilize their untapped skills. We do a lot of work on, finding the things that you don't see. And I kind of talked about that today with you guys. Recognizing that something was getting in the way of your success, which we talked about yesterday. We're going to do a deeper dive into that. And, do you really want to keep that stuff, right? And how to get rid of it, okay? And a lot of leaders were not sure how to move forward. They hit their leadership. I see it all the time. And then they stagnate, okay? So a lot of the time I have successful leaders take this course, and sure enough, somewhere in that course, they hit that glass ceiling. This is where it is. And then we work through that and we get them moving forward again, okay? So leadership and business success has allowed me to live the freedom lifestyle that I love. That's not for everybody, but you have your own idea of what you want to live in your life and what that means to you. So what I love about this is it allows me to help others do what I have done and live the life that they're looking for. Okay. And that's why I am extremely passionate. I think you got the idea about me being passionate about helping others step into their leadership and become powerful and influential by communicating and delivering actionable steps. And remember, leadership is individual to each person. Okay. And that is really key. I'm not trying to make clones of me. I'm not trying to make clones of you. I'm trying to get you to step into your greatness, and you all have it. Okay. You guys know about me. I'm a leadership accelerator, 3-time world martial artist, and a holistic practitioner. So I understand both sides of things, both the heal and the hurt, and also how to create a leadership legacy, where my students have won world championships. Well, what did I do with them so that they ended up actually winning more than I did? And then in turn, they went and took what I taught them and they did it with their students as well. So I have generations of world champions in my school. And I took all of those principles that I used and I applied it into this workshop, okay, which is 6 modules and 6 Q&A sessions. Okay, so 1 week would be a learning module, 1 week would be a Q&A session. And I'm just going to go through the modules very quickly because I know we're getting to time. The first one is identify your gold medal self. We covered this the first day, but we didn't cover all of the pillars. So we're going to do a deep dive into that. There's so much more there than we talked about the first day. And the second day, we kind of touched on this today. Where are you now? Because you're going to start to see that very clearly when we start to look at all of those pillars on where you are up here and where you are now. And you're going to have way more definable information that you can use to start moving. Okay. Removing roadblocks. Again, you're going to talk about, do you want to keep it and how to get rid of it? Okay. So you've got the whole process there. And then your world champion mindset. So I talk about the different mindsets that you've got and how to utilize a success mindset to create what you want in your business and your leadership. This is a really good module. I find a lot of people have a lot of breakthroughs here as well. And then I give you a ton of tools. And I remember I was teaching this course and we went through this 4th module, 4th or 5th. And the person messaged me after. She's like, I don't know what tool to use. Like there's too many. I'm like, well, just go through and see what resonates with you. And it's almost like I felt I was giving too much, but it was like, you just can't have enough tools. And maybe you're not using them all now, but you use some of the ones that apply and employ the others later. Okay. But you have them for your whole life. Okay. Your whole life's a long time. And then lastly, in the last module, we turn it all to go. So I basically give you and show you the way to make more money and monetize your business in what you're doing. Okay, which is cool because people always love that. Yeah, more money, right? Okay, cool. I'm just watching the chat too. All right, so this was a testimonial by one of the people who took my course. Laura is by far one of the best mentors I've had the pleasure to work with. The Gold Medal Leadership Program has provided me with so much clarity on how I'll move forward in my own business by providing tools that help to further define my mission statement, vision, key customers, and my own unique value proposition. And this was a testimonial from one of the first people who took my course, Terry Randall. She's an amazing person. So, when I read this, and this was totally unsolicited, I was just shocked that she had had that much change. Yeah, Terry's amazing. You're right. And she's moved into my second level course as well, the year-long mastermind. She's so excited for that. And her business actually has exploded this year. So, you know, again, that makes me feel really good. All right. So I want you to imagine if you took hold of your leadership, and what if you were able to become the Pied Piper of leadership and the ultimate influencer in what you do? Like people would follow you everywhere. Like how, like it would, what would that feel like, right? You know, and how would that make you feel, right? That means you're going to have more money. Okay, we talked about that. You're going to help more people succeed. We talked about that too. And you're going to be the go-to person for what you do. All right. And you're going to be able to reach millions. And I'm telling you, when you're up here and you move, you're going to start reaching millions. And 1 million people is not a lot of people. It is if you think about in our community. But once you start to get outside of that community and your reach starts to be more influential, because people are going to talk about what you do, right? And ask for those referrals, because if you don't ask, you don't get. So start asking for referrals for people who have you've interacted with you. Maybe they're just one of your customers. Is there anyone else you think that I could be able to help with this? Right? Because we don't do enough of that because we feel like we're intruding on a person's space. But I'm telling you, if they love what you're doing, they want to help you, right? So reach out. Okay. So what I've just shown you is a step-by-step system to achieve powerful leadership success. Okay, and it's a system that I have personally used to become a 3-time world champion martial artist and a leadership accelerator. And I want to do the same for you. I really want to see you guys succeed. Okay, so what I did is I added in a whole bunch of bonuses. Okay, so the bonuses are the top 10, my top 10 best communication techniques. And I used a lot of these when I was training students and in my leadership trainings in martial arts, not just in my business. And by the way, I just want to let you know, this is all in US dollars because I do teach on a global level. US dollars is just, it's much easier for me to use instead of converting. Okay, so that's $197 value you're going to get included. Free personality assessment, a $97 for free. Okay, very, very educational about yourself. My 5 most popular crazy tools to explode your life. So I teach a class called this actually, Crazy Tools to Explode Your Life. And it's a lot of the techniques that I used when I was a holistic practitioner and I would use in my leadership training that are kind of out of the box things that actually can have you create dynamic change really quickly. If that's something you want to choose. Okay. And that's a value of $197. That's also included. And then I'm going to give you my 3 top tips to a world championship mindset. What did I do up here to win and never quit? Okay. And that is invaluable because you guys are already doing a lot of these things. You just have to keep going and not quit. Okay. So you get that all. 6 modules, 6 Q&As, top 10 best communication techniques, free personality assessment, the 5 most popular crazy tools to explode your life, 3 top tips to a world championship mindset, and the value of that is $26.85. But right now I've got it for $9.97. Okay, but wait, there's more. I also added in some fast action bonuses. Okay, so if people take action today, this is also what you're going to receive. Lifetime access to training and materials. So what does that mean? That's a $2,000 value roughly. So when we go and we have the, when I teach a module, you have access to a membership site. So not only do you have access to all of the recordings for your life, you have access to all the notes that I've taken for each of the classes, as well as the worksheets that I give you for each module. And they are all very fulsome worksheets. So if you do the worksheets, you know, and have the notes with the actual recordings, man, I've had people go back in there months later and look at it again, just to get another idea or get more ideas or get a refresher, whatever that is. So this is invaluable. You have 3 months of unlimited email support from me. I am at your beck and call because I really want you to get the most out of this. Okay, and that's a $2,000 value. And I am also offering a lifetime access to a private community. This is only a community for people who take my courses. I'm in there all the time. I answer questions. I have huge collaboration in that group. I'm telling you. You know, people bounce ideas off each other. They talk about the struggles that they're going with, the wins that they had. So that's also included. Okay. And today I'm going to offer that for $4.97, all of that stuff.
Question for you, Laura.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a 12-week leadership program. It's 1 hour per week. Do you have a schedule?
So yes, I have one starting next week at 10 a.m. on Mondays, and that would be for 12 weeks in a row. I am also planning another one for 12:30 to 1:30. I haven't got the day or the week down yet, and there will be one in the evening starting in February from 6 to 7 p.m. And I'm just narrowing down that date as well.
Okay, so just to recap what you said, you have
Sure.
a program, a 12-week program starting on Monday, January the 18th, 10 to 11.
10 to 11
Okay.
for 12 weeks. Yeah. And then I also have one at that's going to be at 12:30. I just have to narrow down the date. And then
Okay.
one starting in first week February, and that's going to be in the evening, 6 to 7. I had quite a few requests for that as well. I only have 10 people in each course. So when this is full up, we pick another day and a time, right? Because I want to make sure that people get the attention that they need. And I don't believe in having 50 people in a course, because I want you guys to have the most shift that you can. And the more personal attention you get and the more collaboration we work on, the better it's going to be for you. Okay. Now, I have 2 of these left. Okay. So this is my extra bonus. I only have 5 of these. I have 2 left. And it's a 30-minute one-on-one call with me, and you're going to nail your value proposition. What do you offer? I actually give you the template, and I will work with you for half an hour. This is a $400 value, and get really super clear and niche down what you offer. And this I found was something that people were really struggling with. This has helped an enormous amount of people. So if you want to take advantage of that, that's also an extra bonus. I have 2 of those left. Okay. So the summary, everybody gets what was listed, and the first, oh, sorry, you know what? I didn't change this, so I'm going to offer it to the first 5. I usually update my screen, and I didn't. So it's going to be for the first 5. You're going to get the 30-minute one-on-one to nail your proposition. Okay. And that is all for $4.97 US. And it's really, you know, the chance for you to step into your greatness. And these last 3 days have given you an opportunity to kind of glimmer and see what that looks like for you. Okay. If you follow this blueprint, you will most definitely have change. I guarantee it. I'm happy to take any questions anybody has. Christine, do you have any comments about?
No, I mean, from December session, I already made a decision that I was going to do this. I think if for me personally, at the point I am at, that and maybe some of you feel this way as well. I got where I got knowing what I knew, right? I maxed out what I know. And now it's time for coaching, for mentorship. I love the fact that there's 10 people, so it's a little mastermind. And I know that I have to learn more to get myself to the next level. That's tools and that's mindset. For sure, 100%. I need a gold medal leader to kick my ass with the mindset stuff. So that's just some feedback for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started. And I know this is definitely, I love the fact that it's weekly, because I know it's going to help me stay focused. And the shiny ball is not a part of my plan for 2021, ladies. which happens when you're desperately seeking, like, to up level. You think, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that. But that's from last year, the first 3 quarters of the the first 9 months or so, I was just like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. And I just was getting no traction. And when I dropped 2 of the big things and just focused on the one thing, I was like, oh, look at this. I'm making some headway. So I know this is what I need. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just click on the link at the bottom, goldmedalleadership.com, and you can register there. And it will take you through, no problem. And, you know, you can do all your payments through either credit card or PayPal. I believe there's also an Interact option as well. And they will send you a receipt directly. It's funny because you talked about the shiny penny, and I was just like, I was exactly the same. And, you know, once I started bringing more of my mentors in and getting that focus, Christine, I am on track, right? I am on track for this year. And though I look at everything, I don't let it distract me. And there's a big difference about the way I was acting last year with that. And so that, you know, I'm going to keep you accountable for these 12 weeks, guys. And, you know, how much or how little you want to do of it is up to you. But if I can bring you into the next level of your leadership and get it really focused for you, that's what I want to do. Yeah. And you know what? Please reach out to me. I will put my my email in the chat.
Yeah, Laura, how about you send me all of your contact information?
Why don't
and
I do
when
that?
I
Whoops.
send out the recording for this session, anyone who wants to, you know, have a quick call with you to figure out if the program is right for them, maybe they can do that via email or phone. Is that okay, Laura?
That's totally fine. And I've got a Calendly link, so book some time with me.
Okay. Oh, send me that link too. I'll put that in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send that out to you guys and have a discussion. You know, and thanks so much, Diana, and everybody else who came. We're going to close it off now. So I will stop sharing because I know you all want to see each other's faces.
Yeah. So, you know, if I could just end with saying one thing that, you know, ladies, regardless of what you choose today, there's absolutely no pressure from myself or from Laura at all on this program. But I just felt there was so much value in just those few hours spent together of refocusing and thinking. If it's not right for you today, it may be months down the road when it is. But I'm really excited, even just, again, the impact that the 2 days have had with resetting my brain. So thank you, Laura, for bringing your passion and energy to the group.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. You know, I agree. Like, we're all here to lift each other up. And so if this is something you need and this is a pair of shoes you want to buy today, great. If it's not, that's okay too. I'm here to support you any way I can. And, you know, maybe you need to have another conversation with me. Like, you know, everybody's different. So just embrace your difference, go forward with what you need that's going to serve you. And I'm sure we're all going to be, you know, talking to each other anyways. I mean, you guys have really shifted me the last couple of days, and I just value that from so many of you. So I'm going to thank everybody. Stop the recording.